Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special edition of the For Your Scenes Fire American Soccer Show as I review the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup draw that was just done about, I would say, about half an hour ago as the CONCACAF Confederation drew 16 teams from four different pots into four different groups of four. And boy, oh boy, we have some exciting uh, moments to share with you, some exciting things to talk about. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a interesting evening to see who will play whom in all four groups of CONCACAF's 2025 Gold Cup tournament. 15 CONCACAF nations, along with guest team Saudi Arabia from the Asian Football Confederation, joining this edition of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, as we are going to have some fun here starting this summer, this coming June 2025. And we're not going to wait any longer. Let's go ahead and take a look now. Of course, we had four different draw assistants in studio in Miami for CONCACAF, representing Mexico, former legend and goalkeeper and striker Jorge Campos, U.S. men's national team legend, member of the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame, and of course, current MLS season pass Spanish language analyst Marcelo Balboa, the USA, former MLS attacking midfielder, Canadian soccer player, former Canadian soccer player, though he's still playing amateurly, Dwayne De Rosario, and former Panamanian player, Blas Perez, out there drawing the balls, not to see who gets selected, but where they were placed in their respective groups in this one. And, look, most of these teams qualified for the CONCACAF Gold Cup where they finished in the CONCACAF Nations League. And let's also not forget Panama, Canada, United States, and Mexico advanced to the CONCACAF Gold Cup automatically, winning their goal aggregate quarterfinal matchup in the Nations League in League A. So exciting and a lot of fun. Let's not wait around any longer. Let's go ahead and get to it, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. First, we go to Group A. Group A, of course, has Mexico, who won the last CONCACAF Gold Cup 2 years ago. They are placed in a group along with Costa Rica, Suriname, and the Dominican Republic. Now, Costa Rica, Suriname winning their respective preliminary goal aggregate qualifiers, and they were able to get to this position. Dominican Republic, first time ever in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. As we all know, the Dominican Republic is more of a baseball island, a baseball nation, than a soccer, footballing island nation. And, they've been turning it on for a while now, for these last several years. Now, of course, it got started with their under-20 team qualifying through CONCACAF for this past summer's Summer Olympic Games in Paris, France. Of course, they got eliminated in the group stage, but they surprised everybody in the CONCACAF under-20 tournament, which also doubled not just for the under-20 World Cup, but for the qualification to the Summer Olympic Paris Games. And now, with the CONCACAF Nations League that just passed the group stage at the end of 2024, they qualified by clean sweeping their group in League B. So for the Dominican Republic, first time ever for the Gold Cup for them, and hopefully they'll leave a lasting impression. I think they're going to have a tough time against both Mexico and Costa Rica, but, Suriname, they may have an issue there too, but you never know. That's why they play the games. If they can get a surprising results here and there, and maybe, just maybe, edging to get that second position to get to the quarterfinals, It will be something special to see from the Dominican Republic, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Once again, normally a traditional baseball island, they are now starting to try and become a soccer footballing island. And look, as much as a baseball fan as I am, the truth is, I hope this spells success for the Dominican Republic. And hopefully they will be doing some wonderful things in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Now let's go to Group B, ladies and gentlemen. And that has Canada, who finished basically winning third place in the Nations League over the United States this past March. They are in Group B, and they're going to take on Honduras, El Salvador, and Curacao. Now, these countries are really going to be difficult. Canada's had difficult moments, mostly against Honduras. They've always had problems against Honduras. They did get the best of them in the last time they faced them in World Cup qualifying. But this time around, we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. This is always going to be a wild card for Canada. And with Jesse Marsch serving, basically getting a red card in the third place match against the United States, I believe he'll be serving a one-match suspension in the first group stage match here in the Gold Cup, and then he'll finish it off with the next two, depending on who they face. But, El Salvador looking to improve themselves. They have been improving in certain ways. But once again, Canada's got to play them strong. Canada's got to play them smartly, and we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Now, Curacao is coming back from their lull. They did start off brilliantly under Vicente, who was a great head coach for them for the national team. And then when they got rid of him, trying to bring over Goose Hiddink, it just didn't work out well. Then, of course, bringing other former Dutch players who became head coaches didn't work out. They brought back Vicente back to manage, but unfortunately, in a Gold Cup qualifier for 2023 at Jay Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, got eliminated in the first round of those qualifiers, and unfortunately for him, he was sacked. Another coach coming in just could not do the job, and then they bring over a former legend in Dutch head coach Dick Advocaat, and right now Dick Advocaat has done a tremendous job of righting the ship, doing some incredible things, and right now they're in the Gold Cup, and they also were group winners in their League B matches during this past CONCACAF Nations League group stage matches. So that was tremendous to see, and very important for them. Now in Group C, we got Panama, Jamaica, Guatemala, and Guadeloupe. And some of you wondering, why do I have that flag representing Guadeloupe, even though they are a French island? Yes, they are under French law. I understand that. But the truth is that is their native flag. Whenever they go representing themselves in international competition, they must fly the French flag. But because that is their native flag, I would rather use that describing Guadeloupe. Panama, of course, we all know what Thomas Christensen has done for their national team, has improved them tremendously. And it's going to be exciting to watch what's going to happen with Panama being group leaders. Jamaica now under Steve McLaren, former England men's national team head coach. He's been a head coach, manager for many clubs in England. Of course, was an assistant at Manchester United until he got the call to come to Kingston, and he did manage Jamaica. And look, under him, it was just tremendous. And, they've been doing a very good job. Very good job. Guadeloupe, once again, I have to say this, and I have to stress this to everyone. Guadeloupe, even though they're not a full-fledged FIFA member, they're only a CONCACAF member. And for them, this is their World Cup. Guadeloupe has always been that Caribbean nation that has always had dangerous players. One year, they went all the way to the semifinals, falling to Mexico only by a goal to nil. They gave Mexico a lot of trouble long time ago, and unfortunately, they couldn't score a goal, but they only allowed one at that time. There are plenty of talented players, and because they are under French law, that means that if they get selected by the French Football Federation, they automatically play for France. And then when they're done, retired playing for France, then they can play for Guadeloupe. Of course, we all know that CONCACAF has made some changes, and it's just one of those things where, these are the different situations in football. Once again, they are not a full-fledged FIFA member, so that is why France can pick off whoever they want. Of course, remember, Front Malouda, who, French Guyana is also under French law. They get the pick of the litter who they want to join for France. And then he wanted to be in the Gold Cup, but then he played illegally, unfortunately, several years ago. And so, as we get ready, some more, of course, the last group is Group D, and we already know who's in Group D. We have the U.S. men's national team. They're going to take on Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and guest team, Saudi Arabia. Now, I have to say this, and I have to stress this. And I understand some of you are thinking this is an easy group. This should be easy for them. They should walk right into the quarterfinals. Not so. We've never played Saudi Arabia before that I can remember. I don't remember them playing Saudi Arabia, and we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. But, it's just one of those things where it's a national team that's in the Asian Football Confederation. If we did play a friendly against them, and it was here in the States, hopefully, I would like to remember it. I don't really remember it that well. And even we did play against them, it's probably like a long, long time ago. So, that's one of those things where you got to be careful, and you just have to be ready for this, for Saudi Arabia to come in and, and just be ready for it and ready to go. Trinidad and Tobago, obviously, they've had their ups and downs, but at times they've been very pesky against the U.S. men's national team. So they really have to go and take them on, and they got to really be good. Now, Haiti, a bit of a wild card here. And normally I would say they can take on Haiti and take them out. But, Haiti has improved themselves very much so. And so if you're a U.S. men's national team fan, you cannot take anyone for granted. You cannot take them lightly at all. Remember, this is the last competitive tournament for the U.S. men's national team. The rest of the way will be friendlies in September, October, November, next March, and then June before the World Cup begins around, I would believe, around the middle of June here in the North Zone of CONCACAF in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So listen, whoever they select for this roster, gotta be ready to go. Gotta check your egos at the door and bring your passion along as well. And always pretend your flag is draped over your shoulders and you're playing with it on the pitch, going for it 90 minutes. And you gotta make sure that everything is ready to go and ready to just be ready for anything and everything. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on this show, I'm going to have my first guest. He is a scout for the Curacao national team, but at the same time, he also handles Curacao football news on Twitter. So please, I want to welcome in my guest, Mr. Aldrin Rodriguez, talking about Curacao. Aldrin, welcome to the show. Thank you very much, and how are you, sir?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you very much for being on. And, Aldrin, I got to say, Curacao, what a ride they've had these last several years, I have to say. coming into the Gold Cup back, I believe it was 2019. I could be wrong. You can help me out with that. They had that great run, unfortunately, losing to the United States in the semifinals of that Gold Cup. But, that got started putting them, I believe, becoming a new power in the Caribbean zone of CONCACAF. And how did you see that?
Um, well, it was an amazing year that year. Prior to the Gold Cup, we had played in the King's Cup in Thailand, where we beat India 3-1 and then beat Vietnam in the final on penalties. But that Gold Cup was an amazing one. It was a tough loss against the US. It really stung considering we outplayed them. And yeah, from there it looked to go up, and it did in the Nations League right after. We finished second. We drew against Costa Rica in Costa Rica in a game where again we also outplayed them, but sadly in that last match they managed to get the upper hand on us.
Mhm. Yeah, very true, very true. But since then, there's been some ups and there's have been some downs. But now, under Dick Advocat, from your perspective, what has he done to change the fortunes of Curacao for the national team? And they have seemed to be playing much better, and they did excellent during League B matches in this past Nations League this past fall.
Yeah, under Advocat, he's managed to really switch things around. He's gotten players interested again in representing the team. Of course, if we can look back to even the Nations League in 2023, you would realize guys like Eloy Room, Cuco Martina, and several of our strikers and other players just weren't accepting call-ups. They were boycotting it because, yeah, everything was really horrible with the team, from planning, the booking tickets. But when Advocat came in, he set everything straight. He made the federation have to pay the players because, yeah, the federation owed the players a lot of money. Everything started becoming planned well. Advocat brought in a clear vision for the team and got the players motivated.
Very true. And that's really wonderful to see. Whenever you lose a legend like Eloy Room, and look, I have to be honest, I have to call him a legend. I mean, he was signed right away playing goal for the Columbus Crew in Major League Soccer. And, I really thought there would be more Curaçaoians. I thought they'd be signed, whether it be back, in Europe, maybe in MLS as well, to, first team contracts. But so far, I've only seen Room, but such a legend in goal, and what he was able to do to represent Curacao in this league was just tremendous.
Yes. To be fair, when Eloy went to the MLS, he was out of contract with PSV. He had spent the whole season and the one before that on the bench because originally he was brought in to PSV to replace their starting keeper, who eventually never actually left. So Eloy Room just wanted playing time, and MLS at that point was a promising project that they saw. But for the rest of the players, they undermined it because it was like, yeah, it's the US. Come on, let's be serious. That was originally the thought, but after you can see Nigel Roberta, who was a part of our team for Nations League after, signed for DC United. At first it started off well, but injuries plagued him that his career has gone downhill since. He's currently playing in Serbia in the first division. But right now there's another player in the US, Geral Margarita. He's playing for Phoenix Rising, captained them against San Antonio FC, scored a beautiful goal.
Oh, I saw that. That was beautiful. I couldn't believe. I have to tell everybody. I mean, I watched that match on CBS here in the United States. I mean, right-footed, such a tight angle, and he roofed that shot to get the winner. That was just tremendous.
Yes, it was an unbelievable goal, but it's what we expected from him. This is the same Gerald Margarita that just a couple of months ago in November scored 4 goals against St. Martin to win us that game 5-0. This is the same Gerald Margarita that had top clubs in the Netherlands top division, Eredivisie, looking at him, wanting to sign him. So it's no surprise that for him it's no problem to compete in the USL Championship.
Now, who should we be looking for with Curacao on this national team? Who do you believe will be selected, and what can we expect from them?
One player that we should definitely look out for is Livano Comeniencia. He currently plays for Juventus's under 23s in Serie C. He joined the national team in 2024 back in October, and played a pivotal role in our midfield. He's taken the starting 11 spot from one of the midfielders that regularly play week in, week out in the Eredivisie. He's a young 21-year-old kid, very talented. There were offers from him for him back in January from Anderlecht in Belgium, and also the current defending champions of the Austrian Bundesliga as well. He's definitely one to look out for. Gerald Margarita as well. We have to look out for him. This is a major competition for him. It's a chance for him to shine and get on the radars of MLS clubs. And another player we should definitely look out for is Juninho Bacuna. He's our star player, even though he's a midfielder because of the absence of certain strikers due to injuries back in 2024. We played him at striker and he came out with 6 goals in 8 games in 2024 for us. So he's definitely one to look out for.
Absolutely, and we'll see what happens then. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. And so that is Curaçao's group. You're placed in Group B, and that's going to be, of course, you're going to take on Canada, Honduras, and El Salvador. If I can ask you this, I mean, this looks like a daunting group for Curacao, but what do you expect against these three opponents, especially Canada, who's improved a lot? Honduras, maybe still a bit of a wild card. El Salvador, I would say, has been improving themselves as well. What do you expect from them?
Well, from Canada, I really just expect Canada to dominate the game, in all honesty. Like, if we compare the squads, it's not close. Do I think we can squeeze out a tight win, a tight loss? Probably. Even a draw, maybe. Because if I'm being honest, Canada really let me down in the Nations League. I was expecting more from them. But hey, there's nothing you can do against an informed Raul Jimenez. He's just something else.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Honduras.
Honduras, we have a lot of history against them. Historically, dating back all the way to the Netherlands Antilles until now, we faced each other 6 or 7 times. Honduras has only beaten us once. But it's
There
going
we
to be
go.
very interesting to see how this squad goes forward. Honduras in the prelims, they were and didn't impress me much. They made that match harder than it should have been against Bermuda. In all honesty, they just squeaked by, and it was very concerning to see.
Yep, it really was. And El Salvador, how have you been able to match up against them?
Historically, we have sucked against El Salvador. If I'm being honest, El Salvador is our kryptonite. Just like Trinidad and Tobago always manages to get one over the U.S., El Salvador is our kryptonite. We played them the first time in 2015. I think we drew the first match in World Cup qualifiers, and then we lost the second match. Then we played them again in a friendly, lost 1-0, lost 2-0 in the 2017 Gold Cup, lost 1-0 against them in the 2019 Gold Cup. In the 2021 Gold Cup, we were drawn against them again, but we didn't get to play because the players got corona, so we had to drop out. But then we played them again in 2023. We played both those games at home in November of 2023. Both games we dominated. The score ended 1-1 in both of them. There's just something about them that we always suck when we play them. I'm not sure why.
Not sure why either, but look, maybe this will be their time. Maybe this will be your day. This will be your tournament that Curacao can beat El Salvador.
Hopefully.
Realistically, you know, where do you see Curacao finishing? Top two in this group? Do you think they can edge Canada? I like you said, you can beat Honduras, but do you feel maybe this might be the time that you can beat El Salvador?
I think we can beat El Salvador this time. In this group, I think really first place is secured for Canada if we're gonna be like looking this from just one direction. But the second place is up for grabs. It's gonna be a bloodbath for who's gonna get second place. It's gonna be very interesting, and it's why I find this group as the group of death. It's gonna be the most interesting group to look at. Eh, For most of these teams, hell, Honduras, anyone can pull off an upset against Canada. You never know. Canada might underestimate a team. They
Yeah.
can Canada, if we're being honest, from the looks of it, in the Nations League, they went in there cocky with a lot of confidence, thinking, "Ah, this is going to be easy because hey, we made it. We got fourth place in the Copa America. The rest of these countries they failed to make it out of their group, which is going to be easy." But then you see it wasn't easy, and they barely squeaked a 2-1 win against a weakened U.S. side. So it's really up in the air. Even first place might be up in the air. It depends which version of Canada we get. Are we going to get the Copa America Canada, or are we going to get the Canada we saw in this last Nations League?
Yeah, that's the big question mark, isn't it? And we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. And once again, this whole tournament starts June 14th, and we'll see what happens. Aldrin, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And once again, follow Aldrin Rodriguez as well as his partner Jaden, who's currently not available doing the news. He's stuck at university. Poor him, but lucky you. Go to Curacao Football News if you would like to stay on top of everything that goes on with Curacao football, whether it be club or national team. Aldrin, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. You have a good night, and thank you once again.
Appreciate you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Thank you. You have a good one as well. And so that is Aldrin Rodriguez from Curacao Football News. You can follow them on Twitter or X at Curacao Football One. That's their designation on Twitter. And it's just fantastic to get these people. Once again, it's not just what goes on in the United States, it's not just what goes on in the North Zone, it's also the Central Zone and the Caribbean Zone. Try to get as many people as I can that covers the game in this confederation so that we can bring you great coverage for the CONCACAF Gold Cup. And there will be Gold Cup post-match shows here on the Four Year Scenes Fire American Soccer Show this coming summer. Going to try and work it out with the FIFA Club World Cup post-match shows when we get to either, depending on when these matches are being played, with involving Miami and also involving Seattle Sounders. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. I personally cannot wait to see what's going to happen. And we're going to have some fun here, folks. It's going to be exciting. And once again, as we will once again, let me go through the groups once more time just to help you out here. And here we go. Group A, once again, Mexico, Costa Rica, Suriname, and Dominican Republic in Group A. In Group B, we got Canada, Honduras, El Salvador, and Curacao. And then in Group C, we got Panama, Jamaica, Guatemala and Guadalupe. And then Group D, we got the United States, Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and Saudi Arabia. This is going to be an exciting time for all of us this summer. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen. And I'm excited. I'm very excited. And once again, for the United States, this is their last opportunity for a competitive tournament, whether it's a strong confederation or not, does not matter. This is the last competitive tournament in this cycle before you get to the World Cup next summer in June. So once again, June 14th through, I believe, July 8th is the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Now, let me just double check my calendar just to make sure I get this correct. May, June, July. July 6th. I apologize, till July 6th. So there you have it. I went 2 dates too far. And what can you say? It's a lot of fun. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen, and we're going to have ourselves a hell of a time. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Aldrin Rodriguez from Curacao Football News for joining me tonight. Try to get more people to join me. Unfortunately, it was not possible, but that's okay. We'll try and get them next time. But once again, my name is Daniel Feuerstein. Join me this coming Monday night as I will have Carter Krishnar on, my Beyond the 90 colleague, as we will preview the third round of the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup in round 3 proper. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. I hope you all have a great evening, and as always, please enjoy your football. Thank you. Take care. So long, and have a good night, and bye-bye for now.